Say it now. Say the obvious prediction right now.
The Stars are going to win the Stanley Cup.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the Sarcastic Remarks Studios. I am finally home after 4 games being away from home, but nonetheless, I am at home. Welcome to episode number 5067 against the LA Kings. The LA Kings complete the sweep here tonight by a final score of, you'll never guess, 4-1, just like the last game against these LA Kings. Please go and use that promo code THPN the next time you go and use DraftKings Sportsbook. We thank them for being our sponsor of this episode, as always, and we always appreciate all the work that they do for us and allow us to do this podcast. There's a lot of stuff going on here in this game tonight, guys. Just absolutely fantastic. It was great from the beginning to the end. Obviously, we'll talk about the first intermission here a little bit. As you can tell, I'm all here by myself here tonight. So if y'all will let me know your thoughts on this game, any thoughts on the statue, your favorite Mike Modano moment, just let me know, and I will be happy to bring that up and to kind of talk about that. So, like I said, the Dallas Stars do win by a final score of 4-1 tonight. And to be totally honest with you, I don't think it would have mattered how exactly the Stars would have won this game, or if they had even lost the game, to be totally honest with you. Before the game even started, I was completely just in my thoughts, in my memories, looking back at my childhood and watching number 9 fly down the ice. He is the reason why hockey exists in Texas, why it's at least existent among all the other sports here in the DFW area. And he's also the reason why this podcast probably exists, to be totally honest with you. Without the love of hockey that I have and that my brothers have, I don't know what we would be doing right now, but it wouldn't be doing this podcast. Anyways, before we get into the game in general, just the flat out thing that we have to talk about is the statue. So I know that there were some people that were kind of upset about the like what they decided to go with for the statue, because a lot of people expected it to be the iconic photo of him just holding up the cup and that being it. But man, you can't go wrong with that photo. That photo was absolutely excellent, the one that they chose. And the I forget the guy's name already. I'm sorry. I think it's like Omri or Amonri or something like that. I'm sorry. I apologize. I should know that. But he did a fantastic job. And just like he did with the Dirk statue and multiple other statues throughout North America, it was so well done. And this is just something that I noticed about the statue in particular was they even got the flex on the stick right. If you go and look at the statue and you like really pay attention to his stick, you can see that just like always, like we were used to seeing with Mike Modano, we saw that flex on his stick, and it was fantastic. It was so cool to see. Absolutely loved it, and I'm so stinking excited to get the opportunity to go and see it live in person. But y'all let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. I'll bring some of those up as we go throughout this night and talk about this 4-1 win for the Dallas Stars. So I don't now kind of transitioning from the statue to the game in general. I am still concerned. But obviously I'm nowhere near as concerned about the game here tonight like I was on Thursday. But what was really nice about this game was we saw a little bit of everything that the Stars have kind of been missing the last couple of weeks, to be totally honest with you. The team defense, especially in the first and second period, was bar none fantastic. It was from all five guys on the ice. All five guys on the ice were absolutely excellent in their ability to make sure that the puck didn't even get close to Wedgwood. And I can't even think of a giant chance that Wedgwood had to face in the first and second period. That's how locked down defensively that the Dallas Stars were. Now, if you take a look at the third period, obviously we were going to see a little bit of a pushback from the LA Kings. They had to. They were down 4-0 at that point, and they did get the one goal, which really sucks. Dallas Stars are just not allowed to have a shutout. It's just a thing I've kind of come to fruition with, that it's just going to happen. There's no, like, we're just not allowed to have shutouts. It's just the way that it is. But nonetheless, in the third period, Wedgwood was excellent. He was absolutely excellent. He was not world beater, although he made a couple of world beater saves. When we needed a save, and in some cases in concession, like back to back, and it kind of started with the Kaliev shot almost a minute after the Fiala goal. And then he made two more giant saves on Kempe and then on Byfield even a minute after that. So the fact that we were able to get the goaltending out of Wedgwood tonight is exactly what we needed. That's if we get decent goaltending, or even like tonight, good goaltending, we're gonna win. That's just what we were able to do. So the two things that I complained, especially the goaltending, is what I complained about, but even more people complaining about the defense from the last couple of games. The two things, perfect. I mean, you couldn't ask for better. One goal against, that's it. All the Stars have to do is score 2 goals, and they got that in the first period. And the one thing that I did notice also in the first period especially was it seemed like that the Stars were not so much, I don't want to say they were focusing on offense because they got 3 goals in the first period, but it seemed like they were able to take their defense and turn it into offense, if that makes any sense. Like they were focusing on their defense 100%. And when they realized they had an opportunity, they took it and they ran with it. So that's something that I really love to see from this team. And maybe this needs to go through more their heads and think, hey, this is how we need to play all the time. And either one or two things needs to happen. We need to play LA every single game for the rest of the regular season and the playoffs. Or we just need to have a Mike Modano unveiling statue night every single night till the Stars win the Stanley Cup, and maybe they'll actually win it. One of the two things has to happen. But seriously, the way they played in the first period in particular was excellent. It started with a lucky goal from Harley. I mean, you take what you can get at that point because we needed a couple of lucky bounces tonight. It was Smith making it 2-0 from the point. There was a lot of traffic between Smith, who scored the goal, and big save Dave Riddick. So I really thought that that he didn't have a chance on that. I don't fully blame Riddick on that shot. So the first two goals really weren't all his fault, to be honest. The third one, oh my goodness, there's what you can't. Wyatt Johnston, everybody, he is really starting to turn into the elite player that we knew he was going to be. We didn't really see it and really think about that at the beginning of last season, his rookie season. We just thought, oh wow, this guy's really good. He's able to, put up points, and he got a 20-goal season in his rookie season. That's fantastic. Great. Maybe he can take that and keep it moving forward. And he has taken that rookie season, and he has no idea what a sophomore slump is. He's now at 26 goals on the season. He scores his 50th career goal tonight. And the shot that he had, that was just absolutely disgusting. Absolutely 100% disgusting. And I think it's now 4 games in a row that he has now scored a goal in, and he doesn't seem to be slowing down. And the other thing about it is, and Razor mentioned this too during the broadcast, I forget when it was, he's been the Stars' best player, at very least, the Stars' best forward in the last 2 months. And I think he has 20 points in his last 16 or 17 games, something crazy like that. And most of them are goals. So we always talk about how goals are more important than assists. And Wyatt Johnston is kind of proving it up there for Stars fans. Just a couple more comments from the first period. I gotta throw a Razorism in here. Holy hot potato hockey. Loved that from Razor there. 5 minutes remaining in the first period. Let's talk about the fourth line. The fourth line, man, this is something that I didn't expect. They've been good. They have been very good the last 3 weeks, despite the Stars as a team not doing all that great. If you look at the game on Thursday, that was one of the lines that actually kind of stayed together when we went down 5-2. And they continue with another goal here tonight. They were personally responsible for 2 of the 3. Now, I know that one was a lucky shot and the other one was a screen through the middle, but who cares? I mean, the fourth line was on the ice for 2 of the 3 goals there in the first period, and half of the goals in the game tonight. I mean, I haven't even really looked at the stats, to be honest with you, but I don't think there was a lot of points from our quote-unquote players. So fourth line steps up tonight. Excellent job. Foxa, Delandria, Smith, all 3 of the guys, they absolutely deserve to have a huge, huge biggest winner tonight. And I'll go ahead and just say that they're my biggest winner tonight, despite all the good things that happened in this game. Okay, let's talk about the first intermission. That's when the statue was actually unveiled. When they went through the video production, which was fantastic, by the way. Whoever put that together, that Jeff Totes would love that. I could not keep myself from at the very least tearing up, and I'm tearing up even right now thinking about it. But before the game and during that first intermission, I was watching some old school highlights from the later Modano days, I want to say. So 2005 to 2011 when he was still in the league. And every single time, it doesn't matter how many times I watched the highlight, every single time I watched the highlights of him against the San Jose Sharks back in November of 2011, I think it was November 7th. I just get goosebumps and chills every single time. Every single time. And I even put this on the Sarcastic Remarks Twitter account earlier before the game. I was 17, 18 years old. I forget how old I was. I think I was 17. It was my senior year of high school. And as soon as he got that puck and had the breakaway, I knew 100% that was going in the back of the net. I'm like, you can't, it has to go in the back of the net. And it was just a feeling. It was just something that, watching that particular play that he was going to score. He just was just going to score. And I cried at that point when I saw it on watching the game here in my studio. I absolutely lost it and cried. Couldn't help it. Sorry. This team has meant a ton to me, and that player in particular has meant a ton to me. So, congratulations to Mike Modano. He absolutely deserves this. I don't think there's anybody else that I can think of that deserves the accolades of having a statue at American Airlines Center other than Dirk Nowitzki. Dirk Nowitzki brought a championship to the Dallas Mavericks and to the city. Mike Modano did the same thing. But in my personal opinion, and I'm probably biased, I'll be honest, I think he did more. I think he did way more for this city than Dirk did. And when Dirk came into the league and he became the face of the Mavs were already a big thing. They were already within the realm of DFW sports. Mike Modano had to kind of tear that apart and insert himself, his sport, and his team into that. He had to do basically all of that by himself. Now, a lot of that also goes to a bunch of other players. Obviously, it started with Shane Churla. It continued when we had Brett Hull, Eddie Belfour, Zubov, yet Lettinen. You can continue on for days now. But man, it's all about Mike Modano. It's all about Mike Modano. Anytime anybody talks about Dallas Stars hockey, you think of number 9 and you think of Mighty Mo. It's just fantastic. And for the rest of my life, I'm going to remember that moment when they won the Stanley Cup and what he did for this franchise and for this city. And also for my love of hockey, to be totally honest with you too. Joe Mama, laugh out loud every time I watch Mike's last game. Oh yeah, seriously. And the other thing that was really so sad about, not sad, but like a happy sad, was that last game also was like the end of an era. It wasn't just Mike Modano. Yes, it was mostly about Mike Modano and obviously his last game in the American Airlines Center. But it was Lettinen and it was also Marty Turco. And I even put this on Twitter earlier. You couldn't have scripted a better movie script for Disney than that game in particular. Like I could have written that down and sold it to Disney and they would have made a movie about it. That's how fantastic it was. So I really got it in the feels today, as you can tell. And I loved every moment of that ceremony, and Mr. Mighty Mo absolutely deserves it. Okay, moving on to the second period. Dallas started off with a power play, and something they've continued to take advantage of is their power play. Jamie Benn scored a power play goal off the rush, and he went far side on David Riddick. This is a great shot. And again, another guy who had a really good game was Jamie Benn. Now, the one thing I would like to see him do better, and sorry to throw a little bit of a minor negative thing in here. Sorry, I gotta get the feels today. I really wish that Jamie Benn would be a little bit better in his own zone. That's about it. But that's just me. Let's see what else. Okay, and this was something that I also thought was like super ironic. Was I wrote this down right as Razor was mentioning it, but Dallas seems to be in the right place at the right time when it comes to their own zone. They really did. And I don't think that's a coincidence. That had to have been something that they worked on in the last couple of days, especially after the last two games where they had a 3-0 lead against Florida and blew it. And then they had a really nasty game against the Devils, who are not going to make the playoffs more than likely, in a 6-2 loss. So that was really frustrating to kind of see that. Going through after that, guys, I didn't really have much other than the third period. The Stars kind of backed off, and I already mentioned it, but Wedgwood was fantastic in that third period. So they seemed to find some legs after their goal, the LA Kings did, and they were playing in the Dallas zone there, especially in the first 10 minutes. And like I said, there was save after save from Wedgwood, especially with the pads. That the pads were excellent for Wedgwood tonight. Foxa had a chance. There was a couple of chances that Robo and Hintz had throughout the game. There was a 2-0, and I thought this was kind of ironic in what I wrote. I didn't even realize it until just now. Steele robbed. Steele was robbed on his chance on that 2-0. And, good for Stankoven kind of sticking up for himself. He kind of got cross-checked by Roy a couple of times, and then he went in and finished a big hit on him. So that was really nice to see as well. Other than that, that's pretty much all I got from notes wise. Let me take a look at y'all's comments here. Zach, my bro, 1 goal and it was fluky. Stars played well. Modano is a legend. Had me tearing up myself. He was my introduction to hockey, and there's still no comparison in my mind. Yep, that's absolutely 100% exactly what I was thinking as well. Wyatt wasn't even looking at the goal when he shot. I didn't even realize that. That's insane. That's something I mentioned too. Ardell, Ben shot was far side was filthy. More about Ben. Ben's goal was old school Ben. Ardell also saying, I wore my It's Tuesday sarcastic shirt, 6-0-2 in that tee. That's awesome. Padre, the patriarch. I wore my Starcastic Remarks t-shirt down here at the Austin Open Disc Golf Tournament, just spectating this weekend. Nice. What's the checking line? Where has it been? And is it a harbinger of a scheme that will be used in the playoffs? I don't know, to be totally honest with you, Richard. I think that especially with the way that the Stars play and what a lot of other teams are starting to kind of transfer to, is there's not really much of a checking line anymore. And I mean, tonight is a perfect example of that in a way. 2 goals with the fourth line on the ice. I mean, there is an expectation from PDB, Pete DeBoer, that all 4 lines have the ability to score. That's just kind of an expectation. And the other expectation of a lot of players nowadays is you play defense. It used to be back in like the 80s and 90s that, the top players like the Gretzkys, the Messiers, the Marcel Dion's back in the 60s and 70s, you could just go in and just play offense, and then everyone else would take care of the defense for you. That's not the case anymore in today's NHL. So I don't know if that's necessarily a scheme, other than that's just the way that hockey is going, if that makes any sense. And we kind of saw that with Vegas against the Stars last postseason. Excuse me. I'm trying to look at comments while I'm talking. But I really think that is the case, and I think it's going to continue going. Joe Mama, I'm not crying. Padre also. Ardell also crying. And Mike has 5 kids too. I'm glad mine are more grown up now. 5 under 10 when you're in your 50s is a lot of work. Yeah, I can't imagine what how much that must have been like. Monica, my sister-in-law, that's Zach's wife, stanky hit. That was probably my favorite part of the third period. Let me. Oh yes, absolutely, Ardell. This is something I've been wanting to talk about for a while now. It's not necessarily a Dallas Stars thing, but Pierre-Luc Dubois is absolutely not worth that contract that he signed with the LA Kings, and he's making Rob Blake look like an idiot with the contract that he has him signed to. So I don't think he's gonna do much. I think he only got that contract because he had a big name. That was about it. Let's see. Ardell Harley was carrying the puck and driving play. Yes, he was pretty good tonight as well. The all the defensive pairings tonight actually in general were much better. I thought, including the Yanni Hakanpää and Suter pairing, which is gonna get some heat over the final couple of weeks here of the season. Zachary, frustration I had. Robo turns away so much when I feel like he should push to the goal or take a shot. Saw it a few times tonight. It was a few times, but he also had a couple of times where he did take that shot. And there's just sometimes they get this overpassitis, the Stars do, because they're such a good team off the rush and off in transition hockey coming from their defensive zone and the offensive zone, that they just sometimes they pass the puck one too many times. And there was one case in particular I was thinking of in the second period where they had LA on the ropes. Like they didn't know what defense was at that point on that particular rush. And I think it was Duchesne. I can't remember who it was exactly. It was Duchesne or Robo. Just passed it across the ice. That he was on the left side of the ice, passing to the across to the other side, and there was nobody there. So I don't know. I would like to see him kind of take a shot a couple more times, especially with Robo. Robo's been kind of off when it comes to the goal scoring lately, but what I think has really improved in Robo's game is his general, like, how do I say this? His 200-foot game. Like, he is very much as good defensively as he is offensively now. Last season, he was all about getting the goals, and he was able to get 40. I think he has a shot to get to 30 this season, and he's obviously, I don't think he's going to make it to 100 points, but if you're able to play better defensively in your own zone, I think that's worth sacrificing some points in order to be able to be a better defensive forward. So I don't know. That's just my thought on that, but y'all can let me know. Okay, before I get into the last couple of things, if you want to call in, I'd love to hear your thoughts on your favorite Modano moments, on the game here tonight, or anything else that you have. It's 214-810-1470. If you want to call in, I will take your call here in just a moment after I go through some stats here. So, stats here tonight for the Dallas Stars. Time on ice was very good, generally, for all the defensemen tonight. Harley and Haskin. Harley actually leads the way. 22 minutes, 48 seconds. Haskinen with 21:44. And all of the defensemen, other than Yanni Hakanpää, were 18 minutes, 17 seconds or above. That's what you want. If you want to say you're trying to replicate what Vegas did in the playoffs last season and really kind of spread out the minutes, that's what you want to see. That is exactly what you want to see. And that makes me feel very good about the prospects for the Dallas Stars decor moving forward. Points tonight. Harley leads the way with 2. Haskinen, Suter, Robo, Stanky all get an assist, as does Pavelski and Foxa. And then, like we talked about, Ben gets the goal, Smith gets the goal, Joe gets the goal, and Harley also gets the goal. So I think that's going to continue for the Dallas Stars. And I think Wyatt Johnston's probably our best player right now. This is another thing I was just thinking about, Zachary. Feel bad for Duchesne. He has been looking real frustrated. I don't want to say that this is the case because it seemed like he was the one that was really starting to open up Seguin and Marchment. But ever since Tyler Seguin's been out of the lineup, he has not been the same without him. So maybe it's just something between those two guys. We were kind of singing the praises of Matt Duchene earlier in the season when that line was just going ridiculous. Maybe they just complement each other that well, Sagan and Duchene together. And it looks like, based off of what we saw earlier today, he was on the ice, and I'm talking about Tyler Sagan, and it looks like he is closer to return in the either in the next game against the Coyotes or the last game of this homestand, which I believe is on Friday. I think Pete DeBoer earlier this week said that Sagan was going to return probably in the last two games of the homestand. And if he doesn't, he will absolutely be on that first game of the following road trip. So we will see and hope for the best. Scott Wedgwood, he's the hero, one of the heroes for tonight as well. He only has one goal against, and the one goal against was it was a seeing eye shot, honestly. It was perfectly placed shot, and he just never saw it. He has a .964 save percentage here tonight. Just great game by him overall. And then when you look at the box score, a lot of it is in the Stars' favor. Block shots 18-12 in favor of Dallas. The hits 42-18 in favor of LA. Kind of what that tells you is LA didn't have the puck very much here tonight. Faceoffs, this is something that the Stars actually lost tonight, 33-31 in favor of the LA Kings. The power play was good for the Stars tonight. They only took one penalty, which they've only taken one penalty in their last two games, the Stars have. So that's another good sign for them moving forward. And then obviously the all-important stat is the Stars were able to outscore the LA Kings 4-1 this evening. Okay. I'm not hearing any calls coming in, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here tonight by giving my biggest winner and biggest loser. There are so many that I could give here tonight, but I'm going to give my biggest winner to the fourth line. That fourth line fourth line was just excellent tonight and was a defining factor in the game tonight. They were out there for 2 goals against. Who cares how they were scored? They were out there for it. And then I'll also give on the same level biggest winner to Scott Wedgwood. Scott Wedgwood, that was the most concerning thing for me in the last game, and to the point where I was worried about the playoffs, and I still am to a certain extent because I mean for some reason we've had LA's number this season and for the last couple of seasons, but this makes me feel at least a little bit better. It does. It makes me feel better knowing that the Stars can play like this. And I think moving forward on Wednesday, we will see Jake Ottinger in that game against the Coyotes. I think that will be a good game for him to get back into. Everyone has 3 days off, so no Stars game Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday. And you're also playing against the Phoenix Coyotes, which I think that's going to be a good game for Ottinger to kind of come back in. And if it's a confidence issue, I think that will be something that will be good for him to kind of maybe get that confidence going again. And I forgot exactly the words that Razor said, but he said something at the very beginning of the game that Otter was working on something today. So the Stars' playoff hopes rest on, not fully, but they rest on the back of Jake Ottinger. Jake Ottinger has to be our starter going into the playoffs. And that's no offense to Scott Wedgwood. It really isn't. He's a great goalie, and he's a fantastic backup. But if you're going to win a cup, it's going to be off the back of Jake Ottinger. It absolutely has to be, and you can't convince me otherwise. You really can't. Okay. My biggest loser tonight. I don't know. I don't really have one, to be honest with you. I don't think I have one. Am I really gonna cop out and say no biggest loser tonight? Okay, I got one. Okay, the weather. The weather sucked, and it's whatever pomp and circumstance that they had for the 4:00, statue unveiling that they were originally going to do. I think they did okay with the first intermission. That was I think that was good enough to kind of recognize Mike Modano on, and you just kind of make the best out of a bad situation. The weather didn't really cooperate, but nonetheless, there is a statue of Mr. Mike Modano outside of the American Airlines Center. Okay, well, that's going to do it for me here tonight. I appreciate all of you guys who came in, listened live. We have up to 50 here this evening. So thank you guys for following along live with me. Thank you to all of those who are listening afterwards. I appreciate y'all just as much. There's even more of y'all that are doing that. Thank you to DraftKings Sportsbook. Use that promo code THPN the next time you are there. And as always, we'll catch you guys on the flip side. And we hope you guys have a good, fantastic morning, afternoon, evening. It's going to be weird with me saying it, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. GG, boys.